The acronym 3A1 bag was one of Acronym's very first available products. It's a bag that when combined with an Interops acronym jacket answers a question: what would happen if my jacket partially concealed my bag? Well, look no further. Now all we have to do is question why we would actually want our bag to do this. It's also a bag that's designed to conform to the wearer and have easy access to its array of pockets while on the move. Just look how swiftly I can get a Mario Party started from the front storage alone, and the main compartment gives us a ton of space for GameCube controllers of all the colours of the rainbow. Now this bag is something that I've wanted for such an extreme amount of time, and I personally think that this colourway is one of the best that Acronym have produced since I got into them. I remember almost buying one in 2014 but falling back once I realised that they aren't really designed to carry laptops, and it's a real shame that I didn't, as by 2018 these bags had doubled in price, and in 2023 this particular one retailed for €1,401, which is 2.5 times the cost of back then. When buying from the UK or another non-EU territory, Acronym removes their VAT, but I was liable for import duties that were similar to what had been deducted. It's definitely worth mentioning that these bags crop up on the retail market quite a bit, and you can often get them for cheaper than retail. Sadly for me, I'd already invested in 3 J1A style Acronym jackets that offer Interops functionality, so buying this bag was essentially inevitable at some point in my life. I could either do that, or spend the rest of my life wondering what might have been if I managed to use the back flap on all 3 of my jackets. Not a reality I want to be in. This bag was first seen in 2001, where it was released as part of Acronym's very first available product, the first edition kit that had a release limited to 120 pieces. As the name suggests, this bag along with an Interops jacket is a great entry point to understand what Acronym design is all about. That being said, Acronym do have a couple other bags that provide Interops functionality, such as the 3A2, which is the cheapest and smallest Interops bag, and the 3A3TS, which is like a 3A1 with a Texas grid in place of the exterior pockets. Acronym make a range of much larger bags, some of which they can carry laptops, but they don't offer Interops as they're simply too big. Since its first release, the design of the 3A1 has remained mostly unchanged, so it was designed in an era where functional fashion was working with CD players, compact cameras, and wired headphones, which are far less common today. Still, it retains a ton of utility, and remains a really well thought out bag even today. All of Acronym's bags are made in collaboration with fellow Berlin company Bagjack, and they sell their own range of custom-made messenger bags that carry similar features to the ones they make for Acronym, and they're also similarly expensive. All of Acronym's bags are now only available on their mother site. There was a time when stockists used to carry their bags, but those times are behind us for some reason. It's always quite fun to use n.com, which indexes all the products they've ever sold, and see how low the prices used to be. Now let's get into all the features of the 3A-1-CR. The bag has 8 pockets in total, 5 external and 3 internal. The large main compartment has a big dual YKK zipper for access. There's also a reverse coil security zipper on the side to access the same compartment, so if you place something like a water bottle up to this side you can easily retrieve it. Inside the large main compartment are 2 flat pockets that also have reverse coil security zippers, and the longer one has this wallet-like pocket here. These flaps have slits near the top of them to allow a wire to feed through, and there's a further slit on the exterior of the bag. These flaps easily pull out and flap over the top of the bag if you're trying to retrieve something from one of the pockets while you're on the move. On the front of the bag are 2 differently sized pockets that are closed with what's called a Spanish buckle. These are a ton of fun and really easy to open, but are slightly finicky to close. These pockets are also adjustable, so you can make the storage area bigger by unclipping this part and sliding it further up the strap. You can go to quite an extreme with this, and you have to wonder how secure these pockets are when you go up to the top with them. Look at the amount of space when they're near the top. It could certainly work for some items though. Behind these 2 pockets are mezzanine pockets, which are quite a hidden feature. They have a slight gap in them where the material folds over themselves. A great storage example for this bag is to have a power bank in one of the flat pockets, and then feed the charger all the way to a phone that's inside one of the mezzanine pockets. I use this all the time and I find it really handy. The strap on this bag has a lot going on. For starters, it's twice as wide on the part that rests on your shoulder, and then it folds into half the width for the part that runs down the chest of the wearer. This results in this quite complicated finish around the buckle that offers a loop to hang something off of. The strap also has this fast release pull tab to make the bag hang lower, and the long end of the strap can be pulled to cinch it in and make the bag rise. The loose strap can be clipped to the other side when not in use. There's also a release buckle to completely separate both sides of the strap. The bag has these extra buckles on the back, which are also present on some of Acronym's larger, more load-bearing bags. On those bigger bags, they come with an extra strap between these buckles that can be attached to the main strap of the bag to give 3 points of load bearing. Here those buckles are practically decorative as no such strap is included, and you wouldn't generally use this bag to carry something heavy enough to justify needing an extra strap. Now let's get into one of the main selling features of the bag, which is what Acronym calls Interops. On any jacket Acronym makes that offers this functionality, the bag can be worn while you put on your jacket, and they interface with each other, leading to the bag being partially concealed by the jacket. This offers protection from rain and any pickpockets that might have a deep knowledge of Acronym and are trying to get at your mezzanine pockets. The way that Acronym designs their jackets today to allow for this feature is through having 2 zip closures. So you have this zip near the top that has a loose end that can easily be placed in front of the straps of the bag and zipped. Then you have to fasten the main zipper up to the point where the strap lies. This is very effective and satisfying to do. In the past, Acronym achieved this through one zipper and a button closure at the top of their jackets, which wasn't quite as good. All my top buttons on my J1A LP blew out though, so I might be biased. One thing you really have to wonder about interrupts is whether you value this feature because it's functional, or because it's aesthetically pleasing. In all honesty, interrupts kind of feels like you're tangled in your jacket and bag through a series of slightly complicated fastenings. If you've ever been concerned about going through a sudden medical incident while wearing expensive stuff, I can personally guarantee that the paramedics will reach for the trauma shears long before they figure out how to get you out of this tangled web of Errolson's design. On the question of rain, Acronym designs mostly Gore-Tex jackets that are ready to be worn in torrential rain conditions, and when you use interrupts you're going to be left with soggy straps and zippers on the bag even though it's partially concealed. You'd pretty much be better off just concealing the bag under your jacket entirely and foregoing interrupts altogether in those conditions. One excellent thing about this bag is how it wants to conform to your body when you wear it. This is apparent especially when the main compartment is empty or not that full. You can see here how the separation between the two front pockets exists so the bag can naturally wrap around the body of the wearer. This bag certainly functions best when it's being used to carry light objects. As a satchel bag, I find when you overload it, it can cause some strain quite quickly, and the plastic part of the strap can dig in a little bit. It also stops the bag from conforming to your body how it wants to. This is quite a big reason as to why you generally wouldn't want to put a laptop in this, even if you had a really small one that fit. One of the best storage examples is when the main compartment is being used primarily to store an interrupts jacket. That way you can pull the jacket out of the bag and have the bag conform to your body as you set up and use interrupts. This was the way that Errolson Hugh used to demonstrate using it, seen here in this grainy 2006 footage using a 3A-1-CR, which is essentially the same bag. As I said earlier, I bought this bag because I thought it was one of the best colorways Acronym had done since I got into them. It's black with olive accents, which is quite an unusual color combination. It initially had a release that sold out in minutes, but it restocked and is still available today. They also did a white 3A1 with olive accents at around the same time, which I personally didn't like as much. In the past, 3A1s have come in many colours, perhaps most notably being these foil ones from 2015, which were prone to flake with wear. This bag is made out of an X-Pac fabric, and so far it's stayed in perfect condition as I've set it on the ground and even mildly scraped it against a brick wall. Of course, with such an obscene price point, I'm being relatively careful with it and hopefully will continue to do so. However, the plastic buckles on the front definitely already show some signs of mild chipping despite me being somewhat careful, but it's plastic hardware so it's to be expected. You could probably easily get a replacement for them if it bothered you. X-Pac material is waterproof, but the rest of the bag from the strap to the material around the main zipper isn't, so it's liable to get wet and need drying. It's definitely worth mentioning that for the price that this bag is at, it's made out of some pretty unremarkable materials. You're certainly paying for design over anything else. I found this bag easy to clean and I have some specialised experience in this department. I had this one incident where I needed to leave a pub as my group were leaving after I'd just bought a pint, and I drunkenly concealed my 70% full glass in one of the front pockets, thinking I was balancing it carefully as I slipped past the doorman and into the street. I discovered several days later that I actually wasn't as smooth with this manoeuvre as I had thought in my drunken haze, and I'd spilled a good chunk of beer all over the inside of one of the pockets. I literally just got a wet cloth, surface washed the inside, left it to dry, and it's back to perfect. The 3A1 has definitely been copied numerous times, but it's the original and an absolute cornerstone of Acronym's design. The interrupts functionality is a very unique idea with a slightly dubious amount of utility, but it looks cool. These bags are so extremely expensive that I feel you will have practically made up your own mind as to whether it's worth paying so much for what is essentially a day bag. For me, it was unavoidable as it was the last piece I really needed to feel like my Acronym collection is complete. I really do enjoy how well thought out it is, and I hope to use it for a very long time. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe and consider following me on Instagram. I'll catch you on the next one.